Welcome Insiders to Film Inside. I'm your host Eric. Today we're doing a microphone comparison of two budget-end, affordable lavalier microphones. The iRig Mic Lav by IK Multimedia and the A-Lav by Aperture. So diving right into the comparison, you'll see that both these microphones come in a hard case. Looking at the iRig Mic Lav, if you open up the case, you're greeted with the microphone itself. But if you take a look at the A-Lav case, you open that up and you notice there's a lot more things than just the microphone. So the A-Lav microphone obviously is the microphone, but then there also is a battery module, 3 wires that it comes with, a dead cat windscreen, and some tape so you can tape down the microphone. So already you're noticing some differences with these microphones. And focusing on the A-Lav comes with a battery module like I mentioned, and this is very important. You plug the A-Lav microphone into the battery module, which then powers that microphone, and then you have to have another wire that comes with the A-Lav, which will then send the microphone signal to your device such as an iPad, a phone, or with a different cable, you can plug it directly into an audio recorder like a Zoom H1. Because the A-Lav microphone has a battery pack with multiple wires you can plug into it, this gives the A-Lav microphone a lot more flexibility compared to the iRig Mic Lav. And actually with the iRig Mic Lav mentioned, if you look at the connector on the iRig Mic Lav, it's a 4-pin 3.5mm plug, so that's going to go into smart devices like an iPhone, like an iPad, but it will not go into a recorder unless you have some fancy adapters. So now you're realizing that the iRig Mic Lav is not as flexible, but what is unique about the iRig Mic Lav is there's a little block on the wire that is like a bridge connector, which lets you plug in another iRig Mic Lav to a second iRig Mic Lav, then going into your smart device. So to clarify this, I can have 2 iRig Mic Lav microphones running at the same time into the same device, and I can't do that with the A-Lav microphone. But fancy features aside, directly looking at the actual microphone capsules, you notice that both these microphones are relatively small, and that's a good thing. I hate when lavalier microphones are big and bulky. These lavalier microphones are rather small, rather compact, relatively easy to hide on yourself. But now looking directly at the wires on these lavalier microphones, the A-Lav microphone has a lot longer of a cable, and it comes with this nice little rubber piece that you can wrap the wire around, while the iRig Mic Lav is definitely a shorter cable, which makes it possibly harder to use depending on what you need to do with it. But so with all that said, none of these features or anything matter unless the microphone sounds good. So let's jump to a sound test of both these microphones. So we're going to be starting off this test inside. Right now I'm using the A-Lav microphone. How is it sounding? Alright, so now I switched over to the iRig Mic Lav. How is this sounding? It seems to be a little bit more sensitive than the A-Lav microphone, but again, we're inside, so you shouldn't be hearing much noise at all. You should be able to just really focus on my voice. Alright, so now I am outside. I'm using the A-Lav microphone at the moment. There's cars, there's wind. This is not a perfect environment, but how well is the A-Lav microphone operating right now? I am moving around a bit because I want to know how well is this microphone dealing with my body movements. I understand fully that lavalier microphones can drastically be affected by where they're positioned on someone, but is it picking up me moving around much at all? I'm not sure. Let's switch over to our other microphone. So now I'm on the iRig Mic Lav, and again, we're outside. It's actually a little bit more windy out now. How is the iRig Mic Lav sounding? I'm moving around a little bit, seeing if it's going to be picking up the wire being moved or anything like that. Just looking at my screen though, it is seeming that the iRig Mic Lav again is a little bit more sensitive than the A-Lav, but you guys can hear it more than I can right now. I still have to review this footage. So there is the test of both these microphones. What do you think? And to generally cover both of them, lavalier microphones, especially lower end lavalier microphones, are definitely not going to have the best dynamic range, especially compared to like my shotgun microphone. So you have to take them for what they're worth. And looking at both these microphones, I've noticed that the iRig Mic Lav definitely is more sensitive compared to the A-Lav microphone. With that said, I also noticed that the iRig Mic Lav is a little bit more noisier and tends to crack if you're too loud. So with that said, the A-Lav microphone has a lower noise floor, so I can increase the gain to match it with other microphones, and it's gonna sound pretty decent. But now looking at the clarity of both these microphones, the iRig Mic Lav seems to be a little bit more on the higher end treble side, and the A-Lav seems to be a tad bit more bassy. But neither one of these really matter because you have to look at the overall quality, and the A-Lav microphone usually has a consistent quality, while the iRig Mic Lav, you have to be relatively careful not to talk too loud, because if you do, then it gets a little distorted. So overall, which microphone would I personally recommend? Which would I be getting? I'm gonna have to go with the A-Lav microphone by Aperture. First, it's cheaper than the iRig Mic Lav. The iRig Mic Lav is around 50 bucks, the A-Lav is around 35, and you get more accessories and whatnot with the A-Lav. You get more flexibility because of the battery pack that comes with. I can plug it into a recorder, I can plug it into my smart device, it has a longer cord, so I'm liking the A-Lav better. With that said, I would still consider the iRig Mic Lav just because you can buy two of them, connect them both together, and then have a dual recording, which if you're going to be doing interviews with multiple people, it could be really beneficial. So I'm actually going to be holding on to both these microphones. I'm probably going to be using both of them depending on what environment I'm in, especially because the iRig Mic Lav, I just easily plug into my phone and it's working, when the A-Lav is a little bit more complicated to set up because of the battery pack. But you have to evaluate what you're going to do with it. And that's where I'm going to end the video, guys. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section below. If you have any other videos you want me to make, let me know. Anyway, guys, my name's Eric. I'll see you in the next video.